So let's kick it off.
Let's
That
go.
being said,
Let's go.
all right. Well, welcome to the Greater Severna Park and Arnold Chamber of Commerce Learn and Lead / CenterStage program. I am here with Larry Sells from Larry Sells Consulting, and I am Jen Triplett from Tree Branch Group Marketing and Website Services. Today, we have a really great special guest. It's Stacey Cassidy from Savvy Consignments. If you haven't been there, you really should check it out. We checked it out last week, and there were some really amazing, cool things. I'm particularly eyeing the guitar and some clothing items. And we have our lovely graphic designer, multimedia person in the background helping out as well. And she is eyeing the big, fat, fluffy bunny.
Now everybody's gonna want it.
Oh, sorry. No, armadillo. Not looking at it, not at all. So, Larry?
So thank you for all taking time and joining us today. We're delighted to have Stacey. The purpose of this, again, is to just kind of hear from a local business owner, trials, tribulations, lessons learned that maybe we could use in our own businesses to try to help us. So if we could, as Jen had said, if everybody could put themselves on mute except for Stacey, and then if you will hold those questions, we'll have a time at the end. What we really want to do is hear from Stacey here, and then again, we'll follow up with an open session of questions at the end. So with that, let's go. So Stacey, thank you for being here. Stacey Cassidy, longtime business owner in Severna Park and longtime friend. Why don't you tell us about Savvy Consignment, from how long you've been in business and just a general overview of your business, what all you offer, what you do at Savvy Consignment for those that may not know about you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for having me. Larry, you always wrote me into these things and I love it. So August, Savvy Consignment celebrated 12 years of being in business. I feel every year a small business is there is another feat. I mean, it's tough. I started with one small 1,500 square feet store that is just clothing consignment. We did purses, shoes, kids, women's, and then 3 years after I opened that, in the same shopping center, another space came available and I opened Savvy Home. Couple years after that, my landlord kept asking about moving into the large space that was family floors. And I was very hesitant because it's very big and it's a lot of money and I was nervous. And then I finally did it and put both the stores together. And it's probably the best thing I ever did. I wish I had done it sooner. There are a lot of people that come for clothes that now shop for furniture, and there's a lot of furniture people that just now shop for clothes. We actually have a lot of men that come in for clothes. So now we take a little bit more. We have a small men's section, more accessories, jewelry, purses, all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, 12 years in August. So knock on wood, it continues for a little longer.
Well, the challenges of running a small business, there's a lot of trials and tribulations, and to get to 12 years, actually to get past that magical 7 years is a big deal. And you've certainly blown through that. So continued success to you, Stacey. All right. Well, why don't you describe to us this journey, right? So you were doing something else and then suddenly thought, I want to do a consignment business. I'm interested in how you chose to get into consignment. So, like how you started, what were you thinking? How did this happen? And tell us about, where we are now and maybe where you want to go with it. But I'm very interested of what was the reason or why you started a consignment business and what made you do that of all the choices you may have had.
Gotcha. So I worked my first, I guess, big girl job. I worked for an ad agency for about 10 years and loved them. They were two women, small business in Severna Park, and I worked for them. They taught me a ton. I left there. I worked from home for a little bit in sales. And then I went into corporate marketing and I worked for a publicly traded medical transcription company. Worked there for several years. And then I had my twins. After the twins were born, I went a little more part-time in medical marketing. I worked for Ann Arnold Gastro. And then, just all that, the years of corporate world, I wanted to do for myself. And my kids were little. The twins were, when I opened Savvy, the twins were 1 and Kylie was 4. I mean, who opens a small business when you have 1-year-old twins? I mean, it was nuts.
Twins.
Wow.
How I had also bartended and waited tables at Adams right across the street, part-time, up until I was pregnant with the twins. And I just knew the space. It was this is when the economy was down. It was 2009. And I was reading, I think Fortune 500 magazine had something on an article of like top growing industries, and consignment was kind of one of them. And I just kind of knew the area, and I had really not a clue of how to actually do it. I had a vision in my head of how I wanted a store to look. I wanted to be able to come in and it be color coordinated and by size, and just have like the nice little kind of Nordstrom of consignment shops. But it's, it takes a team, because my very first employee, who is still with me, I mean, I couldn't have done it without employees, without family, without friends, without that. But it's been a blessing. It's been great. So I went from all the corporate world of stuff to want to do for myself. I sold every suit that I owned when I opened, and now no one wears them. So, but it's good. I like expanding the market of stuff. You see in the business world what your moneymaker is and stuff. And it's all a learning curve. I feel like it changes every year. So all I can do is day to day, figure out what's working best and just try to keep going from there.
So you have 12 years experience, and you probably, every one of those 365 days, you learned something new. I can tell you, just as a personal observation, when you said earlier, the Nordstrom of consignment, I think that is so true, because personally in our household, my wife, when she shops at Savvy, comes home with designer clothes with the tags still on them that have never been worn at an unbelievable discount. And, everybody likes to brag and talk about the discount they got, hey, this is on sale at Nordstrom, whatever. My wife will say, this thing's like $80 or $120 at Nordstrom. I got it for 15 at Savvy. And I'm going like, you go, girl. So you offer a lot of guys hope in the shopping area. So I'm grateful for that as well.
I used to get so surprised.
All right. So
I used to get so surprised.
The journey of bringing all these businesses together and consolidating into one place. What's down the road for Savvy? What's next? What's the next thing? Or there's not a next thing, but where are you seeing things headed in terms of future with Savvy?
So a few years ago, I pondered Savvy 2 for a long time. I pondered Savvy Kids all different locations. And then it's just dividing my time into 2 different locations, which sometimes it's just not feasible. So I feel like a lot of the times I work with the girls that they want to come to work because we make it fun to work together. So then I feel like when I'm not there, I can't control some things, and I just didn't want to take my brand and not be in control of it. I pondered franchising, but then again, if someone messes it up, I feel like it's my name on the line that I started, and I don't want it to be messed up. On a bad day, when I come home and say to my husband, I'm done, I'm ready to sell, he's like, absolutely not. So I'm a day by day. I wish I could tell you more a plan. I mean, my long-term plan is a little shack on the water and have a beach, and my husband can have a golf course somewhere, and we can live the dream and enjoy it. But clearly these days you have to work your butt off to get that. So I'm still in that phase.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, totally get that. And so I'd like to kind of shift it a little bit here. There's things we don't like about business. There's things we don't like. There's things that we have to do. What would you say for you, Stacey, is the greatest satisfaction you get from all of this, right? So at the end of the day, what do you enjoy the most? What do you take the most joy from? What satisfies you and provides that, yeah, this is why I do this?
Well, I think satisfaction kind of comes in all different directions. One for me is I did this all by myself. I didn't get loans. I did it literally with a home equity loan and work my butt off. I mop floors. I come in every day and I pick up and I put clothes out, and I'm the old school, work from the ground up. And then I'm so grateful that I have so many customers, consigners, fellow businesses that, support me. I have over 16,000 consigners.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, I'm truly every day grateful for that, because, I'm always going to get the clothes, but it's the support from the community and the shoppers that kind of keep you thriving. So, my satisfaction is my, my hard work.
Well, and I get that. And, it's very evident when you go into Savvy, and I encourage everyone, if you've not been, to go there. Stacey, the camaraderie you have with your staff is unparalleled, in my opinion. When I see how you all work together, some of the people that have been here, as you said, since day one. Talk a little bit about your staff and just a little bit about them as well, too.
Oh, my staff rocks. We come in every day, and I feel like those are all like my work wives. Like you come in and we are together 8 hours a day, every day. You come in, we have our little sessions in the morning where we vent and get all our stuff out. And then you open the door and you laugh and we shop. And then when we're buried in clothes, we complain. We go out together in the evenings. We do some fun Christmas party stuff. But again, in this place, I can't do it without them. So I feel like I give them as much, authority as that they want to have. If they have an idea, let's try it. If you have something you want to bring to the table, I let them, let's go. But I can't do it without them. And I feel like I'm always looking for more employees, like everybody else today. It's very, very hard. But these girls, they're my ride or dies. And, you go through ones that work out and then some that don't. And lessons learned on some that you've had. But all you can do is we go every day and we have a good time. I feel like if you can't laugh during the day and you're going to go somewhere that you're miserable every day, it's really not worth it. And we have a good time. Sometimes too much fun, but we have a good time.
Well, I will tell you, it's evident every time I'm there that the camaraderie is there. It's a close-knit group. And I think everybody there always has a smile on their face. It's fun to be there, and it's a great environment that you have there. So kudos to you, Stacey, because that starts at the top. And I think I tip my cap to you for that, because I think it's really important that employees, moreover today than ever, are satisfied with the work environment, because as you well know, a lot can make more money sitting at home, and these people choose to be there. So I think that's awesome for you. So congratulations to that. All right. I want to kind of flip the coin over and do a pivot. So we talked about a lot of things you like and a lot of things that bring you satisfaction. What don't you like? Like, what are some of the challenges that you don't like about this that drives you crazy? Maybe makes it not fun, but what are some of the challenges and what are the things that you don't care about the most?
And keep in mind, we're recording.
Yeah.
I'll be good.
Besides me, you can't say anything other than no, go ahead. But no, I'm
So-
interested. challenges like that that you
I'll
don't
be
like?
really, I'll be really frank. Society has really made it tough to be in customer service. And I feel that I am more challenged now than I was in the beginning when I really didn't have a clue what was going on. Um, it's, as a business, you have policies and procedures and you do things a certain way. And then if I don't follow someone's guideline of how they think that it should go, it's my fault. I don't like that social media. People will very, very quick to put out there some negative stuff without trying to resolve it or come to me as a business owner to say, hey, this is what happened, and let me try to figure out. But social media, I mean, the Facebook, but now on the other end of things, the social media, the girls at the school, the high school girls, they're good with this, the Instagram and the Facebook. I'm not very tech savvy. So we do our best there, but it's hard. I don't know what happened to just polite, graceful service. And it's, that's my struggle on the day to day, is all you can do is try. You're not going to make everybody happy. We're not here to offend people. I'm here to run a business, and I have to do what's best for my business. And it could be that I'm not taking something that someone thinks is the best of the best, but it's not. So I'm, again, more challenged today than I was in the beginning. So that's
Yeah,
what I don't.
and this happens, right? So where there's more of an entitlement today, and I agree with you. I think people can very, very quickly, it's easy to get on a keyboard and say something bad about a business without the courtesy of allowing the owner an opportunity to respond before you go public.
Yeah.
I've been very, very involved with that in my past. And I think it's very, very important that people do, and anybody here, pass it on. If you're unsatisfied with an experience, talk to the management or talk to the owner of the business. At least give them a chance before you throw darts in a social media venue. So
Yeah.
I get that 100%, and that can be frustrating. And I get that challenge. But like you said, day to day, you just have to deal with it. And I think you've done well, right? But I get the challenge for sure. All right. Well, again, another little pivot. So you've done this 12 years. When you first started, you were so excited to get this thing going, and you birthed this business with, really, as you said, just a home equity, and really kind of very conservative how you got it started. How do you stay motivated, like day one when you got this business started? How do you stay motivated in year 12 and year 15 and year 20? How does that stay the same, or what do you do to stay motivated on a daily basis?
Again, day by day. And again, it's the girls that I go in to see every day at work. I really love to go in to work every day. It makes me happy. I walk in, and I like to walk in the store and go through it and be like, oh man, let me fix this. Like, I take pride in it. And I just, again, I work with my family. I work with my girls that are there for me every day, and they have my back and I have their back. So I feel like on down days, it's really tough. Like COVID shutting down for 12 weeks was really hard, because from someone who goes to work every single day and to then sit and do nothing, it was like just depressing and debilitating. It was terrible. So now I just appreciate it. I appreciate being there. And I feel like that just keeps me going. You have a day where it's not always good, and you just have to move past. It's another day.
Yeah,
So
for sure. I think we all look for help in those instances, and certainly your staff, like I said earlier, is so much fun to be around. If you're having a bad day, you have a pretty good day right away being around the people that you employ, because they're fun people, and they will pick you up for sure. And I think that's a great thing. So Excellent. All right. Well, being in business for 12 years, uh, you've had to have challenges, and I'm interested in like some of the greatest challenges that have been presented to you at Savvy, and how you overcame them. And those could come in a lot of different forms. But why don't you address some business challenges? Maybe they're personal challenges. I don't know, but the challenges that you've had to overcome in running Savvy.
Um, I feel like in the beginning, the big challenge is work-life balance. And, I have young kids, but you want to come home, but then you got all that work on your mind. So it's really trying to take a step back and trying to make sure you just have both. It's good to have both. I love to bring my kids into the store. So now I can incorporate, and my oldest works there. So that in the beginning, it's really tough to you want to be there all the time to make sure work open to close, but then you got your family at home. That's what's for dinner. How many times can I get Chick-fil-A a week? I can't do it. And then when I had the clothing store at one end and then opened the home store, I walked up and down that shopping center 15 times a day. It wasn't, again, that was a little more on a whim as well, but I'm glad that the concept worked out. That walking up and down, it was tough, and having consigners in both locations, trying to not really mix them in, but having to add them into both sides. So there was some logistical issues in the beginning, but then once we put them together, into the big store, we price things differently. So the computer stayed separate, but we work it out. I mean, it gets a little bit chaotic and probably misunderstood by customers sometimes, but we try to do it what's easiest to make everybody happy and work it all together. And then, I will say now again, with society and the service, that's another, my biggest challenge. Employees, I don't know how. I try to instill in my kids work ethic. I feel my generation is really good at that. I'm having a terrible time finding work ethic these days, and it's tough. I'm always looking. I do so much for my employees. I treat them well. We do fun stuff, but all I ask is reciprocation. You work for me, I work for you. But to find some employees that understand that we work hard. We are on our feet all day long. Yeah. It's kind of like the restaurant business where you don't get a half-hour break to go to Chipotle and get lunch and sit down and come back. Like, you're eating for 15 minutes and you're coming back. And so there's my dog, sorry. So that is, it's really tough. And I don't know how that's going to change. I don't know I try, the young girls that work for me is, I know I'm befriend them. I like them. I enjoy them. And so I try to help teach that as well, because they're going to need it one day. They're going to have to figure it out, whether it's when they get to college, when they get a job in the real world after that. And then they're going to have kids and they're going to have to figure that out. So yeah. It all kind of snowballs together, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, it's an at-work project, right? I think it never ends in that venue. Why don't you touch about a challenge that I know has to confront you from time to time? Beauty, as they say, is in the eye of the beholder, right? So I may have a beautiful piece of furniture. I had a beautiful piece of furniture personally that you said wouldn't work, or I had china and silver, and you said nobody's buying that. Which, I was thinking, well, this is my grandmother's. I mean, this is me personally dealing with this, and it's like, I get it, right? I get it. How do you address the beauty is in the eye of the beholder when you reject something to consign?
That is a day to day. And, I will never forget when I first opened, and there was an older gentleman that came in and his wife had just died. And I'm going to Catholic guilt. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but I had to say no. And it's just, I'm only going to be as good as the things that we take. And after 12 years, I mean, you see traditional pieces of furniture, nobody wants them. We don't do the breakable stuff like that. And people get mad. The clothes, if it's something that we don't want, I mean, we just have to say no. And again, I'm not here to offend anybody. People get very, very offended, but I can only fit. I mean, yes, I have 7,800 square feet. I could probably fill up another 5,000 square feet, but I don't want to. I'm not gonna. But so you can only take so much. And it's manpower. Honestly, the more clothes, like yesterday, the more things that come in are the more people that we need to help put out. And I just don't have it. So again, it comes with, you got to say no sometimes. Smells like smoke. We're not going to take it. People just get mad. And then I see, like, my husband was telling me there was a comment and someone said, well, they're very, very picky, so you should call. I'm proud to say that I'm very, very picky.
Yeah.
And we are. And it is what it is. And so if I turn down your one top that might be 20 years old, but it might be a good brand, I apologize. But again, I just have to go with, and everybody that goes through stuff has a different opinion. So I tell my girls, if you're going to go through it, you own it. If you think it's cute then you go through it. Because some people will say, well, let her look at it. I said, no, you know what? I'm going to trust my employees and let them take it. So it's tough, and it's really hard to say no to some things. Some things we say yes to, and then we're stuck. So we're stuck with things that we don't want the look of a store. Mm-hmm. So when your store is full of all wood pieces, that's what it's going to look like. Right. And again, it's just over the years, what sells, what doesn't sell. So you go with what works best.
Right. Well, and there's changes, right? So like today, China, who gets China anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And what do you do with it? And silver, right? Who uses silver today, right? I mean, but years ago, these were in great demand, right? And now they're not today. So there's trends in this business. And Stacey, touch on your process. So you bring something in and it stays there over time and the price diminishes, and walk us through just that process really quickly.
Yeah. So we have a pretty standard process. And honestly, as a mom of 3 kids, other places and other consignment shops would always have appointments. I can't keep an appointment. You're doing what you can to go day to day. So we leave it pretty simple, is that anytime Monday through Friday, as long as you're a half an hour before we close, we go through stuff on the spot. We ask things that are just folded nicely in a bag or tote. They bring them in, and we're very full right now. So right now I tell people, like, your 30 pieces will go through, and people are bringing me like 6, 7, 8 bags. And I'm like, I could take like not even a half of it. Mm-hmm. And it's just because it all comes at once. But we do it. We accommodate it. I'm usually probably running 6 or 7 employees on the clothing side in a day. We have people bringing it in. We're going through it. Someone's hanging it. Someone's pricing it. We're trying to help ring out customers at the same time buying stuff. We're trying to help people out of the dressing room. So a lot of multitasking going on. But we go through it, we hang it, we let you know what we take, what we don't take, we give you back what we don't, and we go from there.
Right, and in your pricing, it's like over time diminishes. Why don't you touch on that?
So clothing, 2 sides. So clothing side stays for 60 days. It goes half off at 45 days. And then at the end of 60, there's people that want to pick up their items or we donate them. And on the furniture side, it's there for 90 days. So it goes down after 30 days, it goes down 60 days. At the end of the 90 days, again, people can pick them up or we can donate them. Usually for the big stuff on the furniture side, we'll do last chance sales to get rid of stuff. It's usually the knickknacks that kind of get donated, that probably things that we shouldn't have taken in the first place. Right. But it's, we got a pretty well-oiled machine, and what other stores do might work best for them. I'm very familiar with all the Honeysuckle, the Return to Oz, Cha-Ching, which closed, which was so sad. But we all do things differently. You can only do what works best for you. I feel like it's like a new mom. Like you got everybody that tells you their opinions, but in the end of the day, you do what's best for you.
Right. Indeed. No, and I think it's just a great system you have there. Stacey, if you would, what kind of resources and tools do you use there to help your business? And this is Jennifer. Maybe you want to expand on that a little bit about tools and things like that because you were very interested in that.
Well, actually, I appreciate everything that you've gone through from the ground up. I have a similar story as well. So I really kind of understand, the grit that you really needed to do that. And it's awesome that your husband was very supportive, it sounds like, along the way. My question was really, is there any particular software or tool or approach that really helped grow your business that you were like, wow, I'm really glad I invested in that?
Well, I'll tell you, my number one resource is all my consigners, all the shoppers that continue to support you day to day. Because again, old school customer service, like, everything is so on an other end. Like I wish it just rolled back to the simple life. The resources of just small business, your local businesses, Facebook, Instagram is good. I have a hard time with that because I'm so busy on the day to day. My husband always put something up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't even taken a second to get a drink of water. But those resources and consignment for us, there's a consignment software that makes things extremely easy. Everything is trackable. We are human. We have made mistakes. We make mistakes. Things go under someone's wrong number, but we fix it. We can track down every blue Michael Kors shirt that we've ever had, and I'll figure out which one is yours. I probably will say the resource, it's probably one of my bigger downfalls, I would say, is that I wish I had more of a social media, which again, can help and can hurt your day-to-day business. But I have too many people coming in that front door that I feel like we're doing what we can. I wish I had a person in the store every day that could put up some stuff, answer questions. But again, I'm trying to do that from my phone. And usually it's at night when I get off and the shirt probably already sold. Our turnover is too fast. So it really needs to be like an in-house kind of thing. We offer comeback bucks at the bottom of our coupon, at the bottom of our receipts when customers purchase something. They're getting 8% of what they spend back in the store on a coupon. That's good for 2 weeks. So it brings them back into the store. I feel that was a resource that I use every day that was given to me really just by the consignment software. So I guess, yeah.
So it really sounds like, to be completely honest, and every business should think about this, probably the greatest tool you already have. And that's your relationship that you build with your clients. And building that relationship is really what's going to grow your business. A lot of times people are so focused on the quick fix, I'll just throw $1,000 on Google and I'll show up in the first. Well, that's actually just a quick fix. And eventually that's going to go away. What won't go away are the relationships that you build with your clients and with your team, and especially your dog. Because dogs are good for therapy all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one last question for you, Stacey. And again, thank you for your time, and thank you for everybody that has joined today to hear Stacey's journey. Last question for you is, how do you build your community, right? I will tell you, personally, I found you very generous to various charities and concerns, but how do you, Stacey Cassidy, build your community around you and supporting?
You have to have that. That's going to be your number one tool, is to give back. And what you can only hope is that it comes full circle. So everybody that comes in and, hits me up for a gift card is that I'm hoping that they're coming back and shopping. You would think I have 15 kids on the teams that I support. I don't have anybody at St. Martin's School, and I am now a sponsor for an event next week, which I have done a couple times. And you do it. I love to do it. I mean, why wouldn't I want to give a $50 gift card to a lady's whose daughter or whoever died of cancer, and they're doing a 5K run? Of course, I'm going to put my name on there. But and I do what I can. Sometimes by the end of the year, when everybody is hitting you up, you just have to, at some point, you have to say no. But if I can do it, I'm going to do it. Totally.
Right. And I found you very generous in your support of the Severna Park Community Center, to name a few. Obviously, the cancer events you've been very involved with, and we're grateful for that, and some of the events that we've been involved with. So Stacey, I just want to give you a big thank you for taking the time out of your day here. I know this is just right before you'd be opening your store and that you'd normally be there, but thank you for taking the time to do that. I'd now like to throw it open for any questions that people may have of Stacey. You've kind of heard a little bit about the journey, some of the challenges, some of the good stuff, but we'd like to open the floor to questions. So if you want to unmute yourself and ask Stacey questions, we are ready for that mode.
Absolutely.
Any questions?
Hi, Stacey. I have a question.
Sure.
First, I'd like to say I'm a huge client of yours. I've been a client since you were in your smaller space, so I love your store. Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is the men's consignment. I think you have one rack for men's.
Four
Four now. Okay.
There
Is that a big seller, or have you found it's not?
So it's funny. So I had an employee who said a couple years ago, you should try the men's coat. So we tried it. So we do only have 4 racks. We're more particular with the brands just because of the lack of space. For the guys that come in that shop, they're getting good stuff. And so, yeah, it has picked up quite a bit. It's funny, a lot of these young girls, that the high schoolers, the college girls, go straight to the men's rack. They are shopping the college t-shirts and the hoodies, and it's just funny.
They're so much more comfortable. I'm sorry, but the hoodies and the shirts, they are. I don't know what it is. Even the pajama bottoms.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Learning there as we go along. This is good.
So yes, it's taking off. And again, day by day, we take stuff and go from there.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Other questions from the audience?
Hi, this is Patty Ryan, and you guys got up at 8:30 to do this, but I'm out in Colorado and got up at 6:30.
Oh.
So full disclosure, I am Stacey's mom.
Oh.
So she should be getting up at 6:30 to watch.
Yeah.
So I just want to make a couple of comments. First, how proud I am of Stacey, because she has done a wonderful job with this business. But I think she has kind of downplayed a little bit some of what she did in the beginning when she had 3 babies at home. And she would be, we would be setting up her store and washing windows and putting up decorations and putting together racks. She would run home to take care of her babies and come back at 10 o'clock at night, and we would put together furniture. So I think that, again, there was a lot of hard work put into this just to get her idea off of the ground. And I think she talks of, Larry, you ask about her community and her customers. She started out with us designing a flyer, and we went door to door in her neighborhood, putting flyers in mailboxes just to let people know that this store was opening. So I think, again, I don't, it makes it sound like it's easy what she did and what she's put together, but there's been a lot of work that has gone into it, and a lot of along the way, maybe some missteps and she learned from them so quickly. And she has used her personality to build this community that she has, with not only with her employees, but with her consigners. So I just want to not have a question. I just want to say that so that people understand.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
It sounds like you have an amazing mom and support system.
Well,
That's
and-
important.
and
She's
Mom
helped me
is
with a lot of
right.
stuff.
Mom is right about some of the things of a small business. We call it guerrilla marketing, right? So it's like when you're out there just grinding out your branding and trying to get people to make have awareness of your business. Guerrilla marketing, such a key component of what people do. So, Mom from Colorado, thank you for your comments. Those are most appreciated.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it. Again,
I'm
very,
sure you-
very, very proud of this this daughter of mine.
as you should be.
Yep.
All right. Other questions from the audience?
Hi, Stacey. My name is Joanne Brock, and I'm going in from Severna Park High School. So I'm the signature program facilitator. So why we're wearing the mask. We're masked up inside. Heather Barnes here as well. A couple of questions. So our signature is business innovation and leadership was the brand or theme of our school. And we have a student-run business here in our school. It's a screen printing, laser engraving, vinyl cutting business. It's called SP Customs. So we now have a school storefront. So we have a brick and mortar, which we're going to be showcasing our products. But what we'd like to do is one piece of that is we're going to set it up as almost like a consignment Etsy shop. So I'm asking you if you have any recommendations for us. This is where our student entrepreneurs will be showcasing their products, and we're going to take a percent cut as our SP Custom store. So one of the reasons why I wanted to join this morning was to hear how you set it up and to hear, how many days you keep your items on consignment, because these are all questions that we have. So for us starting out, any specific advice or anything that we should consider maybe that you wish you would have known about in the beginning that you found out later?
So I think that's awesome. I wish you guys all the luck. On a note, I do Teacher Tuesday discounts, just so you know. I don't know, you knew that? I've been doing it for 10 years. I think you should lean on other businesses. Like, I think you should advertise it. Like, if you guys want to do flyers, you can put them up at my store. I feel like you have to think of those items. If you're going to do consignment, are you keeping them for a while and they're just a set price? So I have somebody that makes earrings that I sell in the store, and I tell her I'm not liable for them. I'll let you put them out. This is the price that you make. And I think I take $1. Like, I don't do a split, but she's responsible for that. And she sells a ton of them. So are these kids going to want to get their percentage? I mean, I feel like, are you going to use a software program, or are you just going to try to old school keep track of who's selling what? Maybe at the end of the month, you do your payouts.
Yeah. So,
keep
so we do have a Square system set up that can track inventory, but for the consignment side, we have a student intern who's going to be kind of keeping track of what's sold and not sold.
Gotcha. I mean, I think you have to look at your dollar point. What do they want to make? So you're going to do a 50-50 split. We're 55-45, which in consignment industry, it's a standard of either a 60-40, 50-50, which we did in the beginning, but they can't cash out. So they can just shop against the store, but they get 50%. And now we're 45-55. Consigners get 45% of what they sell for. And that's whether it's furniture or clothes. So I think you have to determine what you want your split to be.
And one of our main point is not necessarily making money, but giving the student entrepreneurs more exposure for their products.
Yeah,
And having a place
you
for
should
them
tell
to-
that whoever it is, they could come talk to me. They could come work for a few hours and they could see how my system works.
Yeah.
I've helped 2 other consignment shops open, one in Virginia, one in Upper Marlboro. And I always just say, I am there's no competition when it comes to that. I'm very grateful to help other small businesses because no one helped me. And I wish I had lessons learned. So all I could say is, this is what I have learned. And after 12 years, I feel like it's working. But I'm more than happy to help. They could come, it would give them a little bit of work experience to come in,
Right.
and they can see the software and stuff.
Have you ever considered a student intern in your business?
Oh, I love anybody that wants to come in and help. Go for it. They'll realize it's hard.
Information about getting a student intern in there
Sure.
with that.
Sure. And I think I had tried a couple times, but I don't know if they have to intern at places that aren't for profit. I don't know.
No,
It
this
doesn't
is not for profit. It's 135 hours, one semester. They get one credit for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
More the merrier. I'm all for it.
Okay. Awesome.
Awesome.
So thank you.
So I would say go see Stacey. She's a great teacher, and I think shadowing her operation would be a great lesson for everybody.
The internships are a great resource,
Without a doubt.
not only to give back, but to help train even a future employee. It worked out really well for us.
There you go. Questions from the audience? Going once? Yes, Liz.
Thank you so much. This was just fantastic. And Larry and Jen, thank you. I have a question. I would love to know what the most memorable sale that you made has been. Maybe the most expensive designer item that you sold for pennies. Do you have an example of that?
I do. And it's so funny because yesterday, this lady came in again. So years ago in the small store, we were just getting started, and it trickles in. It's a very slow process to start. And one night, Kristen and I were working, and this lady spent $300. We were high-fiving. You would have thought I won the Super Bowl. It was like, oh my God, we had the biggest sale ever. And now that's a norm, like no big deal. But the lady, Dawn is her name, came in to Savvy yesterday, and I hadn't seen her in years. And I told her this story. I said, you started us off and was like this big sale. You had the best time. She bought all this stuff. And then she came out 10 years later, 11 years later, she was back in the store. But it was when you had nothing and you're not making any sales. And then you had this one big sale. And I was just like, it was awesome. So now I could sell a Louis Vuitton, and that's exciting, yes. But that one first big sale was what I remember.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. I see that Michael Cassidy has joined us. I'd be remiss in not noticing that.
He might be working in
Michael, I don't know if you have any questions of Stacey that you might want to ask or observations to add.
There's your chance.
Hi, honey. My
Good
husband's in
morning.
Texas, so.
Say something nice.
I'm in
Michael.
Texas today, so
Come on, Michael.
I'm sorry if
I'll
I
probably pay a price for that.
There he
But
is.
anyway.
I joined a couple minutes late. No, what Stacy's mom said is I would agree with. I didn't hear the beginning part, but I would say I think as a person who works with a lot of small businesses, I think to be successful, you got to work hard, and that's something, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't willing to do, or they're willing to do it for a few months or a year, but to invest in yourself and invest in others. I think the most successful businesses are based upon their people. And Stacey has done a very good job of taking care of her people. And I give her kind of a hard time sometimes. I gotta go in early to buy cupcakes for this person's birthday and flowers for this person. And it feels like every day there's a birthday. And I'm like, why don't you just do one a month, right? She's like, that's not what I want to do. I want to take care of these girls and ladies that help me. And it's important to me that I give back to them. So, you mentioned, Larry, about giving back to the community. She does a lot of that. And I think that has paid itself forward, right? When you give, you tend to receive. And so, my advice to anyone that is in the business world, take care of your people, hire good people, train them well, but appreciate who they are, because as we all know, it's very difficult to find good people these days and hold on to them. And what does some study says that 70% or 67% of people are looking for a new job. And that's scary when you think about it, and how that affects your revenue and your bottom line, and how just overall turnover stinks, and it's a pain in the neck. So to have good people, to take care of them and appreciate them and have them know that, I say all the time, it's a free thing to say, thank you, good job, way to go, I appreciate it. How is your son, your daughter, your mother, your cousin doing? To really invest in those people and care about them. So no, she's done a fantastic job. She says a lot. She comes home after a tough day and says, I'm ready to sell. We ain't selling anytime soon. I can promise you that.
Well, Michael,
Keep
that's
going.
good. I guess you're in Texas maybe, or you're traveling?
I'm in Houston, Texas today. Yep.
Well, I'm going to do something that's probably really rare for you. That's the last word. So Mike, you got the last word in, and I know that's probably
Great.
rare that happens, but anyway. But listen, for everybody here, I want to thank you for joining our first customer showcase. We think it's really important. We're trying to do this again to give back to the community so they can understand trials, tribulations, and everything that we're doing. Stacey Cassidy, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to do this. And Liz, and for Jen at Tree Branch Group, Larry Sales Consulting, we're happy to put these on because we think our community needs to see it, and our business community needs to understand the warriors that are out there in small business. And Stacey Cassidy is every bit of that. So with that, Jen, any last things that you have?
I just want to say thank you to Stacey and everyone that came today. An amazing story, really. That's just one of the reasons why we are so blessed with having so many successful small businesses in this area and within the chamber is grit. And again, I really love the family support. Your mom obviously was there in the grind of things, helping out with posters and cleaning windows. It's an amazing thing to have. And your husband was very supportive. Just keep giving back to the community and keep building your relationships. And thank you, Stacey, for spending your time with us.
Thank you for having me.
So if you've not been in Savvy Consignment, make sure you get yourself in there. The holiday seasons are here and they have lots of things. But again, my wife enjoys buying designer items there with the tag on them still that have probably never been worn at pennies on the dollar that you can get there. So with that, I'll say that's the conclusion of our Center Stage featuring Stacey Cassidy at Savvy Consignment. Thank you all for joining us, and go have a great day. And remember, give back to the community. Thank you, Stacey.
Our next one.
Oh, our next one?
Why don't you do the intro? Because it's
is next month. We'll get the date. Liz will be putting out information, and it's going to be David Orso from Realty World. And so David will be talking about the same kind of things, starting a business, and we'll look forward to hearing his story. So we'll be getting information on that. Make sure you put it on your calendar. So again, Stacey, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for everyone for taking the time today.
Yes. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.